Magician!
Hey Yugichu, Darkmagician84 here, and I thought I'd do a video talking about updated rules for the Dead Universe Comics Royal Rumbles. As there appears to be a bit of confusion regarding one or two of the rules for them, which I'll go over shortly. Now, last year I did a video on the Team Sorcerers channel excuse me, talking about the rules for the Royal Rumbles and Battle Royales in general. But since then there have been a few changes, well, mainly referring to the Royal Rumbles. Now, I'd say 3 or 4 of these I did discuss with Weber's 5, or at least there was one that I could have sworn I discussed with him, and that was getting rid of the immunity rule. Now, this was suggested a while ago, and I was against the idea at first, but then I thought, well, maybe we should actually get rid of it. Now, obviously, the whole point of the immunity rule was to stop people ganging up, but recently there's like obvious flaws in that rule. One being that someone ganging up will find a way around it, and the other being it makes it really awkward to deal with someone who's actually a threat. So, like, if I launch an attack on whoever the biggest threat is and it connects, then yeah, it means they have immunity on the next turn. So this can be very problematic if, like, someone has some kind of overwhelming board, whether it's strong monsters, has like a couple of negates or a couple of floodgates or both. So yeah, that can be very problematic. So yeah, it would just be easier to get rid of the immunity rule and just simply say no ganging up, which is really what we should have said in the first place, to be honest. As yeah, ganging up is just not nice, and it's not fair on the person you're ganging up on. Like, especially if that person isn't even a threat. So, yeah, I mean, I think that's a simple enough rule to follow, right? It's just no ganging up. You know, it's really not hard. Like, the other thing is, the immunity rule doesn't even apply anyway if there's like 3 people left, so what difference does it really make? So getting rid of it just makes things simpler, in my personal opinion. Also, before I go over the other rules that were discussed, there is another one which did come up in one of the last 2, and that is regarding cards that put tokens on the opponent's field, like Ojama Trio and Ojama Duo. Yeah, the question being, does every opponent get a token, or is it just one? I really should have stopped to think about that rather than say, oh my god, just pick someone. But actually thinking about it, it would make sense to give everyone a token. Well, in this case, like give everyone 3 Ojama tokens when activating Ojama Trio, for instance, because obviously, again, in a battle royale, everyone is your opponent. And like I said before, things like Regeki, Mirror Force will affect every opponent, basically. So, yeah, I wish I'd just stopped to think about that and just simply apply that rule. Now, the next updates are like a few decks that have been banned from Royales. And like, now 3 of these I did discuss with Webbers 5 already, and that was Endymion, Plunder Patrol, and Kashtira are banned from the Royal Rumbles. I mean, Kashtira is no surprise really, because let's face it, nobody likes Kashtira, and no one wants to deal with it. Well, except for, well, regarding liking it, except for Kashtira players themselves. Yeah, it's just a really annoying deck that just does too many things that basically don't let anyone play. I mean, look at Shangri-La, or however the hell you say it. It's like, it's a card that literally doesn't let you play. So yeah, fingers crossed that the deck gets hit on the next ban list. As for Endymion, it's a deck that does too many things that don't let anyone play, basically. It plays too many negates, disruptions, and floodgates, like Endymion itself, Jackal King, Jalgan the Spiritualist, Necro Valley, Secret Village, Magician's Right Hand. In fact, like I said before, Magician's Right Hand and Secret Village just render outs like Super Poly and Dark Ruler No More completely useless. And yet, every time Endymion has been played in a Royal Rumble, like, that deck always won, because nobody was able to play the game. And, that just ended up annoying a lot of people, and we were all getting fed up of it. So, yeah, Endymion is gone. Same can be said with Plunder Patrol. Like, although it only plays 1 negate, which is Lease, it plays far too many disruptions. I don't think it has any floodgates, but it does play Ash Blossom. So yeah, that deck is so disruptive that it just gets to a point where, again, no one can play the game, pretty much, and becomes impossible to beat. And again, every time except one time that deck was played in a Royal Rumble, it always won. Again, some of us were just getting fed up of Plunder Patrol. Well, 3 other decks in addition to this have also been banned from them, although I can't remember if one of those 3 got banned already when I last talked about it. Sword Soul, I think I did talk about that already, because there was a point last year where Sword Soul was played, and just Baron de Fleur and the Sword Soul Synchros just stopped anyone from being able to play. Yeah, it was just absolute bullshit. No one could do anything at all. So yeah, that was that. But yeah, Runic is also banned from Warhouse because, well, Runic is just bullshit and toxic. And yeah, it's technically a troll deck basically because all it does is deck people out. And not only does it mill, it mills and banishes, which is even worse, considering that the banished zone is less accessible than the graveyard. And when that was played in a war, literally no one could do anything. So yeah, that it was just really annoying, and yeah, no one wants to deal with that in a Royal Rumble anymore. Fingers crossed that that gets banned as well. Runic gets hit as well. Not that I really care that much about the ban list anymore, considering I don't play in tournaments anymore. But still, and another deck that was banned from the Royal Rumbles, like last autumn, was Tellarknights. Like I said in the last video, yeah, getting Travers looped and having spells shut down by anti-spell was really fucking annoying. Like, it was just absolute bullshit. Again, no one was able to play. Now, I did have ways to deal with Travers and anti-spell, but I just never drew them. If I'd have seen Twin Twisters, I could have chained it to the activation of anti-spell and got rid of it. But knowing my luck, it would have been stopped by that counter trap. What was it? Tellarknight Alpha? The one that negates anything by tributing a Tellarknight and you draw a card, if I remember correctly. I also did have 2 Solemn Strikes to simply negate the summon of Travers, but just like Twin Twisters, I just never drew it. So it just goes to show that simply drawing the outs doesn't always work. So yeah, because of the bullshit that me, Cookie and Gremlin were put through, Tellarknights are now also banned from Royals. Now I actually remember that there was one other deck that I've decided to just straight up ban, and it's one that I've been calling for a while, and that's Time Lords. I was demanding it before, but nobody was agreeing with it. But seeing as I'm the only one who's played in the Royal Rumble since the very beginning, whereas Weber's 5 sometimes joins in, whereas none of the other original players are playing them anymore. I'm just going to lay down that rule anyway, because, yeah, Time Lords are just annoying and absolute bullshit. I mean, like I said before, all they ever do is sit behind indestructible monsters, stall, and just use cheap burn cards to win, which technically makes this a troll deck as well. And ever since Exodia was banned from Royals, like, there was an agreement to just outright ban all troll decks from Royals, because let's face it, nobody likes playing against troll decks, no one wants to deal with them. Like, even though Exodia and Destiny board aren't that bad, except Exodia FTK. So yeah, that's basically it. And the one other change that I feel like we can do is unban another deck that was previously banned from Raw Owls, Thunder Dragons. Now, to be fair, like the only reason Thunder Dragons were banned from Raw Rumbles was because of Colossus, one of the most hated fusions in the game. But obviously, the card's been banned for what, 3.5 years now, and ever since then, Thunder Dragons haven't even been a problem. Well, except maybe with Bestials, I suppose. But other than that, I think Thunder Dragons can have a break and just be unbanned, although if by some horrifying twist of fate Colossus comes back, then Thunder Dragons are going straight back on the list of banned decks. Of course, to be fair, going back to Tellers, if Anti-Spell Fragrance does get banned one day, then we can give Tellers a break and unban them. But yeah, that is the list of rule changes for Raw Rumbles. Don't know if all of them will be applied to more casual battle royales, but it is what it is. And yeah, thanks for watching, stay safe, and I'll catch you guys later. See ya. Thank you very much for watching. Be sure to subscribe to the Dark Magician YouTube channel.